Hello, I am Jim Rohn, and if you feel like you are chasing someone who is always avoiding, always keeping their distance, then this video is for you. Have you ever wondered why your heart races every time they appear, yet simultaneously aches from their indifference? It is not just a feeling, but a true psychological vortex, and today we will explore it together. When the anxious person stops chasing the avoidant, just imagine for a moment you spend hours thinking about them, sending messages that go unanswered or trying to understand what you did wrong. Meanwhile, they seem to drift further away, as if you are running on a treadmill, trying your best but never reaching your destination. This not only exhausts you, but also makes you doubt your own worth. But what if I told you there is a way to break free from this vicious cycle, a way to reclaim inner peace and even make them look back? In this video, I will reveal what really goes on in the minds of both types, the anxious and the avoidant, and how you, as the one always chasing, can stop without losing yourself. This is not empty theory, but practical insights and specific steps for you to change the game. But to discover it all, you need to stay with me until the end of the video, because the aha moment is waiting for you ahead. If you want to continue the journey of understanding yourself and your relationships, don't forget to subscribe to the channel right now. Join me, Jim Rohn, in turning psychological complexities into your strength. Your departure was like a powerful blow they never saw coming. They constantly checked their phone, hoping to catch a glimpse of your name. But there was nothing. They rummaged through old messages, trying to find a glimmer of hope that you were still somewhere, waiting for them. But it was all emptiness. They played back the recording of the last conversation, analyzing every word, every sound, hoping to find the moment you decided to let go. They once confidently thought they could live well without you, that they could keep you in a small corner of their heart, giving you just enough attention to keep you around, but never enough to truly bind you. Now, with no warmth, no love, or your silhouette, they feel a void gnawing at their soul that they cannot ignore. They never imagined they would long for you so much, never expected that the absence of someone who silently sacrificed would leave them so unbalanced. They looked around, searching for someone else to fill the loneliness, only to be startled by the realization no one is willing to be as patient and fight for them as you once were. They underestimated your worth, were indifferent to the love you gave, thinking that you would remain blind, never realizing their game. But you became awake, saw everything clearly, and chose to leave, leaving them with silent regret. They spun excuses, that they were fine without you, that love was merely a burden, that depending on someone was a weakness. Yet deep inside they knew they had lost the most precious thing, someone who once put them above all, whom they did not truly cherish. Now silence echoes everywhere, like a sorrowful song reminding them of what was forever lost. They never imagined this day would come, the day when a cold emptiness envelops them, as you, the one who tirelessly tried to hold on, finally turned your back. The most painful part is that they can only blame themselves, no matter how much they wish to deny it. They once made you believe that loving with all your heart was a crack in your soul. Looking at your sincerity, at the times you persevered for the relationship, they mocked it and called it weakness, a pitiful despair. They made you feel ashamed for daring to open up, made you doubt whether you were wrong for yearning for something deep and genuine. But in truth, you were never fragile. They were the ones trembling before closeness, shrinking from true emotion, and running away from the dark corners within that they dared not face. Instead of admitting their own insecurities, they chose to blame, turning you into the problem to hide the truth. They persuaded you that your love was too vast, too overflowing, but in reality they simply couldn't handle it. They needed to make you feel small so that you wouldn't reflect on yourself. They labeled you with tags like clingy, suffocating, just to avoid admitting that they did not know how to love wholeheartedly. If they dared to face the truth, they would see that their distance was not wisdom but cowardice, their indifference not power but the wall they built for self-protection. They lost you not because you were too much, but because they were too little. Too little courage, too little sincerity, and too little capacity to truly cherish a heart that once belonged entirely to them. You are not fragile simply because you desire stability, not broken for yearning a true connection, nor pitiful for trying to hold on to what has always deserved to be cherished. They made you feel like a burden, even though all you seek is the simplest thing. They make you believe that your emotions are troublesome, but in reality, they are the ones who are not strong enough to stand with you where you are. They instill in your mind the idea that if you speak a little less, feel a little less, burn a little less, perhaps they will not leave, perhaps they will give you the love you have always longed for, perhaps they will stop running away. But that is just a deceptive act, because you are not the problem, your heart is not a burden, and the way you love is never wrong. It all originates from them, those who tremble before the flame of true love, and thus try to drag you into the darkness of doubt. They cannot harmonize with your vitality, so they make you ashamed of it. They cannot keep up with the fierce wind within you, so they call you too much. They do not dare to confront your honesty, so they turn you into a difficult person. The truth is this: they do not want you to realize that your love is never too great for the one who deserves it, that your yearning for depth is a gift rather than a flaw, that your radiant heart and fighting spirit are strengths, not Achilles' heel. The real weakness lies with them, in their inability to open up and embrace what you give as naturally as breath. Their failure is in refusing to grow, while their fragility is in lacking the courage to fully embrace a love as strong as yours. You are not too much, they are simply not enough. They label you with names like clingy because they never understand the beauty of cherishing someone. They call you desperate because they lack the courage to commit to what is meaningful, and they tell you you are weak because they have never dared to face their own fragility. But deep inside, they know well you are strong when you love wholeheartedly, brave when you are unafraid to express yourself, and you give your all while they only know how to shrink behind a safe shell. There will come a day when they look back and deeply feel what they have lost. They will realize that you were never too much. It was just that they were not capable of keeping you. They will lament for making you think that your love was a burden when it was a precious gem that they were too small to cherish. That day will come like a bolt from the blue, not gentle, not quiet, but fierce like thunder, forcing them to awaken. They will stop tormenting themselves, stop wondering what they are lacking, stop believing that trying harder, loving deeper, sacrificing more is enough. The truth shines bright. They are not the problem. Love does not weaken them. True strength lies in daring to stay, daring to fight, daring to care. They once thought that their heart was a burden, that the need for connection was dependency, but in the end, they realized that true courage is to love even when it hurts, to stand firm instead of running away. Avoidance makes them feel small, as if they themselves are a mistake, as if merely suppressing their emotions, hiding their attachment, would make them more lovable. But that is just a deceptive trap. Their true strength does not lie in shrinking away, but in daring to admit that their love is deep, their heart is resilient, and their emotions are a magnificent mountain. When they realize that, everything suddenly changes. They no longer beg for scraps of affection, no longer settle for half-hearted love, no longer find reasons to justify someone who never takes a step forward. For the first time, they understand clearly, their value does not need anyone's validation. Love is not an arena where they must starve for someone else to hold all the power. They were once taught that desiring certainty is weakness, that yearning for connection is shameful, that their emotions are a burden. But now, the light of truth shines brightly. Love should be a place of peace, not a game of survival. Their heart is a treasure, not something to be hidden. The one who is worthy will never make them grovel for every drop of affection, never force them to fight just to be seen. They rise, stronger than ever, knowing that true love does not require them to be small. It needs them to shine, whole and radiant like who they truly are. Those who avoid believe they can break you, making you believe that you are only lovable when you fade away, when you get used to the coldness like daily meals, when you settle for less than what you deserve. But they were gravely mistaken. There is nothing more powerful than the moment you awaken, realizing that love does not make you weak, but is the flame that proves your strength. When your heart understands its true value, everything ends. You no longer chase, no longer wait, no longer dream of illusions. You stop having to prove yourself because you know you are always worthy simply by reminding yourself of that. When you stop, they immediately feel the abyss beneath their feet. The silence they once used to manipulate now reflects back on them without mercy. They thought they were the masters, disappearing when they wished, reappearing when needed, and you would always be there, waiting for them with fragile hope. But now, there is nothing. No pleading messages, no trembling apologies, no efforts to mend the gap they deepened. At first, they deceived themselves into thinking that you only left temporarily, that you would return as before, that they still held the power. But as days passed, the weight of silence grew heavy, and the void they created took root in their hearts. They rummaged through their phone, reread the lines you once wrote, clearly seeing how much you had given that they never truly cherished. They once thought that love was something to be kept at a distance, not to be reciprocated. Now they reach out into the void, for the first time tasting the price of the indifference they thought they were immune to. They once believed they could leave at any time without paying a price, but now, the emptiness they once desired chokes them. The distance they deliberately deepened now feels like a rope binding their soul. The reassurance that you would always come back has dissolved into thin air. The belief that you would forever wait for them has turned into nothingness. They were never ready for this day. They were used to avoiding emotions, keeping closeness at arm's length, controlling everything so that they never had to give too much. They never wondered what would happen if one day they returned and you were gone. They built a world where you were the guaranteed choice, where they could receive without giving enough. But they were mistaken. Loneliness creeps in gradually, like a cold wind seeping in, a persistent thought that something is wrong. Then it grows larger. They catch a glimpse of your silhouette in the streets you once walked together, in the melody of the song you love, in the small habits they once ridiculed, but now are traces of the love you left behind. Your absence permeates every silence, every corner, every lively warmth of you. They tell themselves that they do not care, but deep down, they know. They never thought they would miss you, never imagined that what they tried to push away would become what they long for the most. Now, the silence they deliberately built has turned into a prison wall that confines them. The distance they once thought would protect them now becomes an unbearable pain. They chose to distance themselves from emotions to defend themselves, but that very act now suffocates them. When they awaken, they realize that you were the one who always tried, always present, always patiently waiting. But by that time, the love you once gave them had vanished, leaving a void they can never fill. The game is over. The one who once chased them has stopped, and they are left with the lingering regret of what was lost. The day you decide to leave forever is the day you reclaim everything. The exhausting months spent waiting for a response, the long nights agonizing over their indifference, the moments you tormented yourself just to keep them around. Everything vanishes when you choose to let go and not look back. They once thought you were a permanent support, that no matter how many times they were indifferent or left, you would still wait. They relied on your perseverance, on the hope that you would hold on, without ever thinking you were strong enough to let go. You walk away without any hesitation, without doubt, without regret. They are stunned, trying to mask their pain with self-soothing words that you are unimportant, that you are too sensitive, too demanding. But deep down, they know the truth. You have changed the game, and they are the losers. Now, the silence they once enjoyed now returns to torment them. The emptiness they once desired now transforms into an unbearable loneliness. They were mistaken in thinking they always held you in their grasp, but now that power has vanished. They hesitate to pick up the phone, wanting to text to see if you still care, but they know clearly you have moved away. The tether they once relied on is now severed, and your freedom leaves them more bewildered than ever. They always thought they were the ones controlling everything, but in truth, The one who leaves is the strongest. When you walk away, you cease to paint their coldness, stop searching for reasons for that indifference, and stop accepting the scraps of affection they throw at you. Leaving is your way of refusing to continue begging for a love that should come naturally. They once were sure you would always wait, but now they are the abandoned ones, wondering what made you leave forever. They try to find new joy, try to forget you with trivial things, but deep down they understand. No one can love them like you once did. That truth does not explode immediately, but silently gnaws at them. One day, when they suddenly realize what they have lost, you are too far gone to return. No matter how much they beg, no matter how much they regret, everything loses its meaning. You have found the peace they forever lost. The one who once tirelessly chased is now stopped, leaving the avoidant to face what they always ran from, the truth that love is not a battle for control, that they are not as strong as they deluded themselves to be, and that the one they once pushed away is the only one who truly understands, truly cares, truly stands by them when no one else does. But now, everything is over. The vicious cycle shatters. The anxious have awakened, no longer picking up the scattered pieces of affection, no longer hoping for something that never changes. They realize that avoidance is not strength, and that love is not pain. True love does not force you to lose yourself, does not compel you to prove anything, nor does it make you doubt your worth. When the anxious grasp that truth, everything shifts unexpectedly for the avoidant. The one who once begged now becomes distant. The one who once feared now coldly moves on. The one who once trembled at the thought of being abandoned now spreads free wings. And it is precisely that freedom that the avoidant will never reach, for they remain imprisoned in their fear, in the barriers they have built, in their own inability to love. As for you, you have broken free, strong and radiant, holding the power that no one can take away, your own freedom. Finally, when the anxious stop chasing, they not only find freedom, but also discover their true strength, the strength to let go, to heal, and to love themselves first. The avoidant, in their own loneliness, are forced to face what they have lost, a sincere love that they never cherished. This story is a reminder that true love is not about control or suffering, but about voluntariness and peace. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, for joining me on this deeply meaningful emotional journey. If you feel that this story has touched your heart, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss upcoming content. Don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next videos.